Thousands of private sector jobs at Jaguar Land Rover have been protected with today's agreement, but there's a warning that many could be lost in the West Midlands over the next 6 years as the cuts get underway in earnest, beginning with next week's spending review.
Some firms rely on lucrative government contracts which could be cancelled as part of the cuts. And there are now predictions that more than 300,000 private sector jobs could be at risk. Here's our business correspondent, Peter Plisner.
The public face of Birmingham City Council. What used to be a neighbourhood office has now been rebranded a customer service centre. The changes mean that instead of having to queue, people are able to use computers to get information and book appointments from home. But crucially, it's helped the council reduce staffing levels and, although not part of the spending review cuts, ultimately save money.
This holds us in good stead, not only as far as being good custodians of public resources and public money, but it's showing the way forward.
OK, so they were asking you further information about the property?
But even here, staff like Monica Gutsmore are still concerned about the cuts to come.
It's an uncertain world kind of thing, and I look at it as being not just a change or cuts within the council, but it's cuts everywhere, really.
The latest figures suggest that across the region, around 80,000 public sector staff could lose their jobs as a direct result of the spending review. That's around 15% of all public sector workers in the West Midlands. But there's more. Research carried out by the West Midlands Regional Observatory suggests that a further 310,000 jobs could be lost in the private sector.
We've taken a national study that suggests that for every public sector job that's lost, up to 4 jobs are under threat within the private sector, both within businesses that provide goods and services directly to public sector organisations, and also in turn the smaller companies that actually supply goods and services to them.
And some private sector firms are already feeling the pinch. This Birmingham-based electrical contractor has already made 15 people redundant after parts of the government's schools rebuilding programme were axed. Although it's currently busy with work on a new hotel, bosses are fearful about the future.
A lot less work, less employees, less stuff inside, unfortunately. But, you know, one has to curtail your activities outside to match the amount of work you've got at a given time.
So, still uncertain times ahead for many, and although the picture should become clearer after next week's spending review, for some things just aren't going to be easy. Peter Plisner, BBC Midlands Today.
With me now is Professor David Bailey from Coventry University Business School. Thanks for joining us. Let's start with those potential private sector cuts. We're talking about over 300,000. It's rather alarming, isn't it?
It is, and what that report is trying to get at is that it's not just about the impact on the public sector, but the wider kind of multiplier effects on the economy. So firms that supply the public sector and their suppliers. And really, we're going to see unprecedented public sector cuts next week. It will go much further than just the public sector. So do you go along with those figures, potentially? I wouldn't necessarily agree with the 300,000 figure, but they are right in trying to show the broader impact on the regional economy. It will be severe.
And what about the 80,000 suggested in the public sector in the region?
Obviously, we'll find out more on Wednesday as to how far the cuts go, but if the government follows through on what it said, then I wouldn't be surprised if that wasn't the figure.
On a far more cheerful note, Jaguar Land Rover, this is brilliant news today, isn't it?
Absolutely wonderful to have a good news story about a car plant. And totally unexpected. Even a couple of weeks ago, management saying...
Well, you never saw this coming at all?
No, not at all. It's wonderful to see. Management were saying they were going for one plant, that was it, and then all of a sudden there's a deal done.
And what do you make of this pioneering pay deal with the current workers and new workers?
Very positive in terms of the company getting its costs down, so new workers coming in will be on lower wages and will also have a kind of lower bonuses in terms of shift structure. So it helps the company get their costs down, but it means they can recruit new workers in the future, so very positive.
David Bailey, thank you.
Thank you.
And just say you can find out more about the possible job cuts on the Politics Show this Sunday. That's at 12 o'clock on BBC1.